Welcome back to the American Family Survival Network. I'm your host, Jeffrey Snipes. It's official. America is not the greatest country on earth. It's 28th. Violence, alcoholism, and obesity pose the biggest risk in the U.S. But the rest of the world isn't doing much better. As Bloomberg reports, Iceland and Sweden share the top slot with Singapore as world leaders when it comes to health goals set by the United Nations, according to a report published in the Lancet. Using the UN Sustainable Development Goals as guideposts, which measure the obvious, poverty, clean water, education, and less obvious, societal inequality, industry innovation, more than 1,870 researchers in 124 countries compiled data on 33 different indicators of progress toward the UN goals related to health, moving in the right or wrong direction. This map shows how well nations are meeting United Nations health goals. The scores reflect what's expected of each, given their development status. Well, that's what that looks like. I'll tell you what that means. That means that higher than expected, lower than expected, and it's all color coordinated. I'm going to put a link to this article in this video, so if you want to take a closer look, obviously you can. And that's from the Lancet. The massive study emerged from a decade-long collaboration focused on the worldwide distribution of disease. About a year and a half ago, the researchers involved decided their data might help measure progress on what may be the single most ambitious undertaking humans have ever committed themselves to: survival. In doing so, they came up with some disturbing findings, including that the country with the biggest economy, not to mention if we're talking about health, multi-billion-dollar health, food, and fitness industries, ranks number 28 overall, between Japan and Estonia. The top 30. Performance of countries based on measures of dozens of factors, including diseases, suicide rates, road injuries, smoking, water quality, and war. So these are the top 30 here. Bloomberg notes that the U.S. scores its highest marks in water, sanitation, and child development. That's the upside. Unsurprisingly, interpersonal violence, think gun crime, takes a heavy toll on America's overall ranking. Response to natural disasters, HIV, suicide, obesity, and alcohol abuse all require attention in the U.S. Also noteworthy are basic public health metrics that America doesn't perform as well on as other developed countries. The U.S. is number 64 in the rate of mothers dying for every 100,000 births, and number 40 when it comes to the rate children under age 5 die. Okay, America's report card on health. The U.S. finishes 28th out of 188 countries ranked across 33 health indicators. High marks in some areas mask how much work in the nation has to do on others. So as far as childhood obesity, we need improvement. Prevalence of obesity in children aged 2 to 4 years. We rated 69% out of 100. Violence, homicides per 100,000 in population, we're 42. Alcohol prevalence of unsafe. Okay, so prevalence of unsafe drinking patterns, we're 54 on that scale. And the things that we did good on, war, fatalities per 100,000 in population, we scored 100. Hygiene, prevalence of personal hygiene, we scored a 95. And occupational risk, accidents in the workplace per 100,000 in population, we scored an 80. So the U.S. isn't doing as well as it perhaps should compared with some countries in Western Europe, Murray said. Okay, well, folks, obviously we have a lot of work to do, but let's get Donald Trump in the office of the presidency so that we can make America great again, and so that we can get started doing that as soon as possible, because we need to move from 28th back to number 1, baby. And in the meantime, please go to the AmericanFamilySurvivalStore.com for all your family's emergency and survival needs. And remember, protect and safeguard your family. Fear not. And God bless. Thank you.